Hello dear ChinaMobileMag fans, today we again have a review for you. This time we want to look at a phone which the clone lovers among you might like. Yes, you probably guess it, it's the new No.1 S7, which is one of the first Samsung Galaxy S5 clones from China. This phone will be available in two versions, one with a MT6582 quad-core CPU and a low-res screen, as well as another version with octa-core CPU, which will be released later. The version available now and the one we have here for testing is the quad-core version. The phone has been provided to us by cect-shop.com. So let's stop now talking about the specs and sponsors and have a closer look at the phone. The No.1 S7 comes in the usual No.1 box with the manufacturer logo on the top and the black gap around the box. Inside the box we find, besides the actual phone, a replacement protective film in addition to the one applied to the device out of the box, an English user manual which is mainly covering the Android operating system, a USB wall charger in white which has been included by cect-shop, and a micro USB cable in white, which unfortunately is quite short. No.1 is following the current trend and is not including any headphones. The No.1 S7 is a Samsung Galaxy S5 clone, so what does it look like? Yes, you guess it, like a Samsung Galaxy S5. And regarding this, we have to say that No.1 really did create a 100% copy of the original phone, except the Samsung logos of course, which are missing here. The front of the phone is white and has a slightly visible pattern. On top we do find the status LED, which is not visible here, the phone call speaker, two sensor openings and the front camera. Below the screen we find two soft buttons which are only visible when being lit up, as well as the physical home button, which is typical for Samsung phones. On the sides we immediately notice the slightly ripped frame, which again is typical for Samsung phones. Here we find a volume rocker on the left as well as a voice microphone and the USB 3.0 port, which is hidden under a lid on the lower side. This lid is kinda hard to close again in the beginning, as you were able to see in our first unboxing video, but with time it is getting easier. On the right side we do find the on-off switch, as well as on the top side a 3.5mm headphone jack and a fake infrared LED. On the rear we do find the rear camera, the LED flash, as well as the sensors for measuring the heart rate. A No.1 logo is present here as well. On the lower half we do find the opening for the media speaker. As with the original phone, the rear cover has some pattern consisting of small dots and is feeling a bit like leather thanks to softening chemicals. Unfortunately, this makes the rear cover stink like hell in the beginning, but after 1 or 2 days it will go away completely. When removing the rear cover, we are looking at the slots for a micro SD card and a micro SIM card, which are located above each other. Also we do find the battery as well as contacts for the wireless charging flip cover by Samsung, which theoretically should work with the No.1 S7 as well. Below we do also find the actual media speaker of the phone. All in all, No.1 has done a great job here. At the first look the phone is looking exactly like the original S5 and also the build quality is very good. Original accessories should be compatible with the phone. The light version of the No.1 S7 unfortunately does only have a 5-inch IPS screen with a resolution of 960 by 540 pixels. Whoever is expecting a very bad panel is luckily wrong, however. The screen quality is very good when taking into account the low resolution. Colors are displayed vividly and with the right tones, and also the contrast is pretty good. The brightness is amazing, which makes reading the screen while being outside a lot more easier. The only real downside is that you can see pixels even at a larger distance, which is especially noticeable when reading text. The viewing angles of the screen are okay and we were not able to notice color changes. Unfortunately, the brightness is reducing significantly. The touchscreen is reacting quite well most of the time, only sometimes we did encounter some inaccuracy, but mostly during multi-touch use while playing games. But this could probably be caused by the protective film. Of course, the No.1 S7 had to survive our usual benchmarks. In the AnTuTu benchmark, the phone reached 17,251 points and was thus located between the Google Nexus 4 and the Samsung Galaxy S3 in the AnTuTu ranking table. In 3D-Mark, the number one S7 reached 2,876 points in the Unlimited, 2,034 points in the Extreme, and 3,033 points in the 720p Ice Storm test. In GFX Bench, it reached 672 points. In Relay Mode, the result was 1,989 points in the HTML5 test and 578 points in the Metal test. Let's come to the operating system of the No.1 S7 now, but before we have a closer look at the user interface and its features, we first want to show you something. We noticed that you can control the status LED of the No.1 S7 using light flow. This is something not all Chinese phones with notification LED do support. Using the app you can, for example, give different apps a different light color, which is working perfectly fine here. As you can see now, the LED is not only flashing but even pulsating, which is looking very nice. Okay, back to topic now. The operating system of the No.1 S7 is basically the same as on the original Samsung Galaxy S5. They simply did port the new TouchWiz interface on it. Here you can see the notification bar of the phone. When we drag it down, we can see the typical quick settings for connectivity as well as the gesture control. The gesture control, however, only supports swiping and smart pause. Smart scroll is not working. Here you can see the home screen, which even includes some of the Samsung widgets like here the S-Health widget. These are really working as the S-Health app is installed on the No.1 S7. Here you can, for example, count the steps and measure how much calories you did burn. To make this measurement accurate, you can use a large variety of settings. Also, the health rate can be measured by the phone. You simply have to open this option in the S-Health app, start the measurement, and then press your finger onto the sensor on the upper rear. After some time, the result is being shown. Here right now, the result is 72 beats per minute. Below you can see the latest result after some sports with 94 beats per minute. So this feature is really working. Also, the camera app has been improved by No.1 compared to the stock Android camera app. If you press the mode button, you will get access to a large variety of features and filters such as Face Beautify, HDR, Panorama, Best Shot, and so on. The system settings of the No.1 S7 do also look just like the ones of the original phone. Here we can see the nice rounded icons conveniently ordered into categories. They can even be filtered by keyword, and if you like it better you can switch to a list view. No.1 did even copy the fingerprint lock feature of the Samsung Galaxy S5, which at the first look is working just the same. Here you swipe your finger over the screen and the home button several times until the fingerprint has been recognized. Then you lock the screen and you will be able to unlock it with your fingerprint. This, however, appears to be a fake feature, as during our test everyone was able to unlock the phone with his fingerprint. Just from time to time we've got the message not recognized. HD contents are played smoothly by the No.1 S7. The quality, however, is a bit limited because of the low screen resolution, which is a bit sad. The internal media speaker is pretty loud and surprisingly is not creating scratchy noises most of the time. Best playback, however, is almost not present. Also, it seems to lack shielding, as you can hear interferences from the mobile network from time to time. The audio output through the headphone jack is quite clear but not very loud and powerful. The camera inside the No.1 S7 is taking pictures with native 8 megapixels and a maximum of 30 megapixels with an aperture of f2.4. Surprisingly, the picture quality is very good when comparing it to other No.1 phones. It is lacking depth of field, but the extremely good color reproduction are totally making up for that. Also, contrast and focus are very good. Together with all the available features and filters, the camera is really fun to use. The noise inside the images is very low. Unfortunately, the LED flash is not really useful. Video recordings are also pretty good and the audio quality is perfect. Just the image section seems to be smaller than with other phones. The front camera is also creating good images with almost no noise. Something that did really surprise us was the reception quality of the phone, which has disappointed us in case of all previously tested No.1 phones so far. The No.1 S7 however has a really good 2G and 3G reception quality with a good audio quality during phone calls. Also, the Wi-Fi reception is leaving nothing to be desired and was working flawlessly all the time. Same applies to Bluetooth. Even the GPS was able to satisfy us. A first fix has been established while being outside without any software modifications within 50 seconds. The phone received 6 satellites and reached 3 meters of accuracy. Inside the house in front of a window it received 5 satellites and reached an accuracy of 6 meters. Even without a window it still reached 8 meters of accuracy, so during navigation you should not encounter signal losses most of the time. The battery of the No.1 S7 allegedly has a capacity of 2800 mAh, but this is something we highly doubt when taking into account the size and weight of the cell. We think that the real capacity is around 2000 mAh. Still, the battery life is pretty good and almost everyone should be able to reach a day of battery life, most probably even 2 days. We did also like that the well-known No.1 battery bug is not present here. We did not encounter any big jumps downwards when discharging the battery. Charging the battery takes around 1.5 hours. Our opinion regarding the No.1 S7. No.1 did finally manage to create a clone which does not have a single flaw that would make the phone totally unusable. The phone is doing what it is supposed to do very good and is fun to use for a clone device. The performance is good, the reception quality is totally satisfying, the camera is usable and the high number of imitated features of the original phone are nice to have, even though most will probably never use them. Even the battery is surprisingly good. The only thing which is kinda sad is that No.1 did not use a 720p screen here. But whoever does not mind that and does not need an octa-core processor, and of course whoever loves clone devices, can purchase the phone without any bad conscience. The No.1 S7 is available through our sponsor cect-shop.com at $186.02 in both black and white. We hope that you did like our review about the No.1 S7. If yes, we would love to see a thumbs up, a comment and maybe even a subscription to our channel. A written review with lots of pictures will follow soon on ChinaMobileMag.com and will be linked below the video as usual. Thanks for watching, bye and see you soon.